Namaste, welcome to NTV Business. In today's episode of Tech Talk, we have startup XTraliving. As the name suggests, it's focusing on enhancing life for an extra mile through health and wellness. So without any further delay, let's invite Rishikesh Kumar, the founder of XTraliving. Hi, how are you doing?
Doing good. Thank you.
So to begin with, brief us about XTraliving. What does it do?
Before I talk about XTraliving, I'll talk about the story behind XTraliving. So I started getting into health and wellness in the year 2000. That was the first year of my engineering college. And I realized the importance of being healthy physically and mentally. At the same time, I saw the lifestyle of my friends and over a period of time, my colleagues. And it was very difficult for them to be healthy. And most of the time, they had low energy level. Many of them had some lifestyle disease. Some of them had diabetes, blood pressure. And these things pushed me to understand health a bit more in detail. So when I was working with Nokia and Microsoft, I was fortunate enough to travel a few countries, and then I met some of the leading experts, global experts. Some doctors from Harvard Medical College, few sports scientists from US and Europe. And then I realized the solution is very simple. And if someone wants to be healthy, they don't need to go for complex solution. But what is happening right now is most of the companies, they want to capitalize on the fear of being healthy.
Exactly. Most of the companies are marketing them as a fear element.
Yes. So if you want to be healthy, the first thing they'll tell you is to join some special personalized program for you, or they'll talk about some supplements, or they'll talk about some tech product that you should be buying. But frankly speaking, if you want to be healthy, you don't need anything. It's just that you need to have an understanding of movement, nutrition and recovery. And that's what I have been trying to explore for the last 23 years, trying to understand how to make it feasible for people to be healthy at home by spending as less as 10 to 15 minutes on a daily basis. Now that is something that we have been passionate about. I understand technology. I did my certifications in movement and nutrition. So I feel that I am fortunate to understand health in slightly broader term. We have been inspired from human evolution, neuroscience and mathematics, and these three are the main pillars for our solution. So we have to understand how we were as before agricultural revolution, how we understand about health. And I'm sure that it's not that you don't know how to be healthy. If you want to be healthy, you will know certain things that you should be eating, some real food, and over a period of time you'll also understand the right way to do some exercises. But what is very difficult to understand is why do people not prioritize, and that is the area where we are trying to deep dive. We are trying to understand the neuroscience, the reasons why people feel that it's okay to be unhealthy. They take the actions at the last stage where they feel there is some psychological or physiological problem.
So what did you get out of the research? Why the people are not prioritizing health?
See, I mean, that is the major work that we have been doing now in terms of understanding why people are not able to prioritize health. And it is not the problem of motivation. Generally, people talk about that you are lazy or you're not motivated enough to do something. But the problem is not there. The problem is in our culture, and that's what we are trying to improve. Now, if you look at how we are born, and the first 10 years is very critical for any child, and you are what you are because of those first 10 years. Okay, so what is happening right now is in the first 5 years, you build your foundation. As parents, they should be able to help a child understand how to be healthy, which is not happening.
From the time of birth.
Yes, so that is where the problem is happening. From the time of birth, child doesn't understand a lot of things about life. So if you give them chocolate, they'll have it. You give them cookies, they'll have it. You give them fruits, they'll have it. So, and then over a period of time, we start feeling that kids will eat only chocolate chips and cookies.
So it depends on the parent that what they are giving to the child.
Yes, it largely depends on how they are involved with the child for the first 5 years. Sadly, these days, most of the parents are very stressed with their work. And because of that stress level, they are not able to give time to the child.
They were not able to manage both the kids and work life.
Yeah. So I'll talk about how it impacts health. Now, in the first 5 years, child does whatever he or she experiences, and that becomes the foundation. In the next 5 years, they improvise that and make themselves believe that that is who they are. So let's say if someone...
That gets habituated to the kid as well.
Yes. And in the first 10 years, they build some core habits which is very difficult to break. Now, you would see most of the guys, they want to do something when they are 35, 40, when they start having some problem, right? Either it is like some musculoskeletal problem
Or
or
some disease, lifestyle disease.
disease, yes, then they want to take action. But these things can be removed completely if you have the understanding of doing something as less as 5 to 10 minutes on a daily basis from childhood days. If
Only
you
5 to 10 minutes if you work out on a lifestyle, there is
Yes.
huge impact.
Yes, yeah, and that is what we realize, that you don't have to necessarily go to a gym every day, every single day, and it is not important that you have to just go and work out with a trainer. There are just 7 foundational habits based on which the entire athletic performance is based. If you understand those 7 foundational habits and you do those exercise at home in 10 to 15 minutes, that's good enough. The other part is the food that you eat, and it's not a rocket science to understand that you have to eat real food.
True.
And then there is a lot of noise around healthy snacks. There is a lot of noise around supplements. So if you want to be healthy, if you just get the real food and have it, do some 10 minutes exercise, that's enough. But then things are getting complicated, and I understand most of the companies are driven by profit. So they have to make some product so that they'll tell you that eat this and you'll be healthy. So that's what is happening. And then the next trend is about technology. I understand technology helps a lot, but technology will help only when there is someone to guide you. And in most of the
Exactly.
company, whether it is CGM, Ring or anything, it's all useless if you're not able to use that for your advantage. Data is not something which will just help you improve. You have to understand how to use that data, right? So there is a lot of noise. That is why you will see even now, after so much of technological advancement, we know how to reach the moon, but we don't know about our own body, right?
True.
So and the solution is very simple, which was there. I mean, which was there for million years.
From our ancient times.
Yes, and then the culture that I was talking about, right? We start thinking of whatever has happened in the last 100, 200 years, and then we stick to that and start talking about that being our culture, right? I'll give you a simple example. Like, why do we eat wheat and rice every day?
Because we have habituated through the sins from past few
Yes,
years.
yeah, and I don't eat wheat and rice, and I have not been eating for the last 9 years. And
From past 9 years, you're not eating rice. What is
no,
the alternative for it?
yes, exactly. So, I mean, whenever I say I don't eat wheat and rice, people think of what is the alternative for wheat and rice. We never think, why did we start eating wheat and rice, right?
Okay.
So, alternative is basically not eating wheat and rice. So, your pulses and veggies that you have, that is good enough. And I have seen a lot of people. So, in the last 8, 9 years, I must have told roughly 1,000 people about this part where you can be healthy without eating wheat and rice. And roughly around 100, 150 people tried it. Those who have tried, they have not gained back their weight. They are amazing in terms of performance, and that is something which is like a very simple hack. If you just remove wheat and rice and sugar, right, these 3 things are in each and every meal of yours.
So, what is your daily meal?
So in the morning, right, if you start with the breakfast, typically what we end up eating is some variety of wheat and rice, right? It is either idli, dosa, or it is paratha in north, or it is some poha in central India, and everything is around just 2 grains. And those 2 grains also are not the same grains which was there earlier. It has changed drastically because of the hybrid seeds which have come out.
Exactly.
So even if it is complex carbs, the genetic structure is different. The number of chromosomes are different, which means that it is not the same grain which was there. So in the morning, you can completely avoid grains. And if you don't have grains, you can just have fruits in the morning, right? And that's the best way to start your day. Or you can have, if you eat non-veg, you can have eggs with fruits. You can have overnight soaked oats. You can have some kind of porridge with some new grains. Or you can have, at times I have sattu, which is basically made from horse gram.
Horse gram.
Yes, yeah, that is a very a good nutritional profile. You have some decent amount of protein, you have some micronutrient, and you can keep changing. So, see, the thing is, if you stop thinking about just wheat and rice, you will start looking for other options.
There are plenty options which are yet to know.
Yes. So, earlier we used to have roughly around 1,000 varieties of plants. Right now, maybe for breakfast you stick to 2 to 3 grains, for veggies you stick to 3 to 4 veggies, and veggies is out of plate. Most of the guys, kids or adults or even seniors, they don't have veggies. Now, if you don't have veggies, if you don't have pulses, then how will you get your micronutrient? How will you get the...
Exactly.
So you will always be deficient, and it is very difficult to replace that with some multivitamin. So whenever you talk to a fitness coach, right? I have been a performance coach. I have trained some Olympic athletes with Government of Maharashtra or Gopichand Academy. I have also trained some corporates and the kids. So whenever I talk to them about protein, carbs or fat, so whenever I talk to them about protein, the first thing that they ask is which brand they should take.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, it has become so common that people talk about protein in only terms of supplements and whey protein. And I have worked with CFTRI, which is the topmost food research institute, for
True.
roughly a year and a half. And I have understood the problems which is being created because of consumption of concentrated protein, which is basically whey protein or some other plant based. So supplement is not a solution. You cannot fix your health by supplement. Supplement can be there when there is a deficiency. If you go to a doctor and he does your test and he tells you that, okay, fine, you are deficient in vitamin D, and he gives you a supplement. I understand that, right?
But most of the people currently, they wanted quick solutions for everything.
Yes.
So they started using protein supplements or directly getting into the weight loss reduction centers.
Yes. So what is happening right now is, because people are desperate for solution, and the idea of health for most of the people is around looking lean. Okay, before and after picture. That is not health. That is not fitness. Fitness is very different. Fitness is primarily around, I mean, there is one very good definition which was made popular by CrossFit, where they talk about 10 general physical skills. But when I talk about just the most important part, it is mobility, strength and endurance. So it doesn't matter what is your weight, but if you're able to run a kilometer, do some squats and push-ups, you are far better than most of the fitness influencers who cannot do those.
This fitness is also calculated by BMI. Is that true?
It is. But see, I mean, people, that is what I'm telling you, people get very technical about few things, right? Now, let's say you don't know what is BMI, you don't know what is micronutrient. Only thing you know is you want to be healthy. Okay. You know how you have been doing your regular day-to-day work, right? Something similar to that is functional movement, okay, which replicates your daily movement, okay. You do some functional movement, eat real food, that is good enough. Now you go to someone, an expert, to take a solution. The first thing that will come into picture is what is the transaction that has to be done. He cannot tell you that, okay, just eat real food and charge you a few thousands, right? So it has become like selling a product. There are some good trainers who understand the importance of your health, who will guide you. And the most important task for any health coach is to help you navigate through your life. As in, if you are not eating well, if you are not able to find time for exercise, then how do we give you some basic exercise that you can do on your own? How do we make sure that you add some fruits in your diet?
In a daily meal.
In your daily meal. How do you add some pulses, some beans? So we think from that point of view. We think that, okay, fine, once you have come to us, then in a year's time, we don't believe in 21 days challenge, short term those things we don't appreciate those things because it is too superficial.
Those things never work.
It does. I mean, you will see, right? You would have seen many people who will lose around 10 kilos in 2 months and then meet them after 6 months, right? So if you see, most of the companies, they show that before and after pictures. You will see 2022 and 23. Meet them in 25. No, you see them, right? You see them what they are. So we don't see the overall health benefit of an individual who has gone through those short-term program. In our philosophy, we tell them that let's plan for a year. Okay. And in that year, whatever improvement you will have, you will not lose it. Okay, because we will be working on your core habits, right? And that is something which is not a rocket science. Most people know that. Most good experts know that you need to improve your habit over a period of time, and that is the only way to be healthy. Now, the other reason why I don't suggest people to take supplements is like that cannot become your lifestyle, right? You cannot teach a child to start taking supplements. You will get protein from real food, which is better to digest because you understand digestion, right? You eat something, you chew, and then it goes to your stomach.
It's not a rocket science.
Yes, and when you chew, there are a lot of enzymes which gets absorbed in the food, which helps in the breakdown, right? When you drink a supplement, right, it skips one process. So if you don't have a choice, let's say, And if you are someone who is traveling and it is very difficult for you to manage your macro and micronutrients, then I understand. But it cannot become a fashion. Like, okay, fine.
Like every day.
Yeah, it cannot become a fashion. So you go to a gym, they will have one training, the other will be supplement. Take this pre-workout, post-workout, intra-workout, supplement that you should be taking during the day, at night. So I did this for almost 4-5 years, right? When I started, the first time I went to the gym was in 2005.
Okay.
And that's when I got introduced to supplements. And then for the next 5-6 years, I try to understand the reason why people are taking it. In the beginning, I felt that it is magical because I felt that, okay, fine, because of supplements, you can add all those things that you're losing out.
There is a change.
I felt that that is the best solution. Everyone should have supplements. I started telling people also that you should have supplements. But then over a period of time, when I got deeper into it, and then I realized the importance of real food and the way you can manage your macros and micros by using real food, and you don't have any side effect when you eat real food. In terms of supplements, you never know the source, you never know the authenticity or how the body is absorbing, or it's not absorbing at all, those supplements. So all these things forced me to understand nutrition a bit more in detail. And that's when I realized that the best way to be healthy is in sync with nature. It is just going along with nature, and there is
very well said.
Yeah, there is nothing which can replace nature. Nature has understood how to give you birth, how to nurture you with sunlight, how to give you food. Now what we are doing is we are changing that food, right? Instead of eating mangoes from trees, what we are doing is we are trying to process it, add something, and then
make it faster to grow, ripen it.
Yes, and all those things is reducing the nutritional value. Well, it is not something that our body will accept easily, right? And that is why you will see in the last 100 years, the strength level of individual has dropped, but we don't realize that, right? We don't realize. And it is just that if you see the human evolution over a period of time, right, then you'll understand that what has happened to human beings. Earlier it used to be, we used to have Vikings, right, who were really strong. What did they eat? Real food. After that we started industrialization, processed food,
all these packaged preservatives, artificial colors, everything has been evolved.
Yeah. So when I told you that I don't eat wheat and rice and have not been eating for the last 9 years, you immediately asked what is the replacement, right? It is not a replacement for anything. You just don't eat some grain which doesn't give you performance, which doesn't improve your performance. So since we are from performance background, we always look at food as fuel to give you energy for your performance, right? So there is nothing wrong in eating wheat and rice. There is nothing wrong in eating a lot of chips, right? If you are just looking at it from indulgence point of view, like you sweets, right? You have it, you enjoy it, but that has to be like small part of it, like 10%, right? 90% times you have to have food which is good for your body. Where if you tell me that rice, does it help me improve my performance? I'll say no, because I have other options, which is beans and pulses and veggies. So I will, if I am eating this, I'm improving my ratio also. There is something known as protein, carbs and fat ratio. You need to have roughly 40, 30, 30, right?
According to the general body ratio.
Yes, according to everyone, you have to have the right ratio. Now, if you are eating, let's say, rice with pulses and veggies, which is a typical Indian diet, right? Then look at the ratio. It will be roughly around 70 to 80% carbs, 10 to 15% maybe protein, and then fat. So carbs is so high that it is creating a lot of issues. So when you talk to some coaches or fitness influencers, those who don't want to offend you, they'll just try to tell you something which you'll feel good about, right? They'll
so
say,
that will get motivated.
Yeah, so they will talk about things that which will sound good to you in terms of nutrition. But they'll not tell you, I mean, maybe they don't understand, or maybe they'll not tell you just to not to offend you, right? But your diet is not good. Okay, and it is basically not possible to change everything rapidly. So 1 year time is the time frame that we feel that slowly and gradually we should be able to give you some input that you can use to improve your health.
So when did you start XTraliving?
So we started XTraliving in 2017, and that's when we started with a CrossFit center. We were the first CrossFit center in Hyderabad, and then we started training athletes. We did some campaigns with the government of Maharashtra. In Gopichand Academy also we did some work. That was us understanding performance.
So far, how many people you have trained?
So total, I think we have done assessment for roughly around 30,000 people overall. We have reached out to roughly around 12 million people when we
Okay.
did some work with the government of Maharashtra, where we reached out to 1 lakh schools. Through them, we reached out to 12 million families, where we talked about the improvement that they need to do in terms of nutrition, the daily exercise. But in terms of direct training, we would have trained roughly around 1,000 to 1,500 people, where we train some Olympic athletes, some corporates, some kids. So we have had a very diverse
So
portfolio.
diverse population who
Yes,
wanted
yeah,
to get
yeah,
fit.
yeah. So solution is similar, right? We are not into bodybuilding. We are into improving your fitness level.
Healthy lifestyle.
Yes, your performance. Okay, by performance you will improve your health, and it is the same thing which is required for athlete also. Okay.
True,
Yeah,
exactly.
but what is happening right now is most of the athletes are also doing bodybuilding training. So bicep, tricep. So it is not about just building muscle. It is about understanding your joints, your movement. So that is something which we specialize in.
And enhancing performance.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
So what are the services currently XTraliving is providing?
So we do seminars, we do corporate workshops, we do road shows in certain residential areas. We do provide training program that you can do at home. Right now we are working on some tech product
Okay.
where we are trying to understand how technology can help you do some exercise. Okay, by that what we mean is in terms of a kit. So we have a kit that you can use instead of going to a gym. You have a small kit that you can keep it on your desk. You use that. That's a complete replacement for a dumbbell. You use that for your workout, and there
Okay.
will be some IoT devices which will help you understand if you're doing it correctly or not.
So what are the what are those included in the kit?
So in the kit we have some resistance weight, which is basically a replacement for your dumbbell. So even if it falls on your feet, you don't get hurt.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Yeah. So we thought that like we'll create something which can be kept at home,
Yeah.
where you have kids. Kids also need to do some strength training. So we created that for the kids. And for the entire family, and in that itself we are adding some technology. So with that technology you will not need any assistance from a trainer or someone else. So you will know what needs to be done. You definitely can work with a coach to understand how to improve your skill. But for the basics,
For
just
basic
to,
everyday
yeah, for the
lifestyle?
basic to remain healthy, you don't need anyone, and that is the concept that we are following. And I understand that most people either they don't have time or they find the solution which is there very expensive. So we are trying to solve that problem. So I'm telling you, if you do 5 minutes of functional exercise daily, you will not need anything. And it is not that I'm just telling you, I don't exercise a lot. Many times my friends and all, they make fun of it that you just come to the center and do something for 10-15 minutes and you leave.
And that's
But
enough, to be
yeah,
honest, for constantly we have to maintain
yes,
it.
that 10 to 15 minutes that I have been doing for the last 23 years. Okay, so it is not about just going overboard one time. And it's not that I'm like competitive athlete. There are some competitive athletes who need to train more. But for someone who looks for just fitness and wellness, 10 to 15 minutes is good enough. When I was working with a few companies, then there I realized that it's not easy to just go to a gym every day. You have like out of 7 days, 3 to 4 days I was traveling because I was into sales and business development. So wherever I go, I just manage 10 to 15 minutes. So we try to understand the lifestyle of the
Regular people, regular
individual.
individuals.
Yes, the corporate audience who are there, the kind of stress level that they are in, and along with that we give them a program.
Okay.
Generally what happens, there is a big gap. Most of the health coaches or fitness trainers, they have not gone through that rigor, of corporate, working in a corporate for 14 years and understand the kind of stress level which will be there. So they always feel that it is just a lack of motivation.
That's
Okay.
a lack of dedication.
Yes, yeah. But now we understand that yes, that stress is real. People have issues. But then along with that also, it is possible for you to do something for 5 to 10 minutes on a daily basis.
So what is the price of your kit?
So we have launched the first kit at 4,999. With that you get a 1 month program also. But right now we are trying to work on a new kit which will be roughly around 2000 rupees. So we want to make sure that you get a kit for 2000 rupees and you are on your own. You can do everything by yourself. If you need some additional help, then you should be able to spend around 400 to 500 rupees on a monthly basis for your entire family, and that should take care of your fitness level.
Great.
So that is the objective.
How to approach to buy this product?
So we are there on Instagram, we are there on, we have a website, just search for XTraliving, or you search for rishi.fit, you will get all the options. So we actively do seminars, corporate workshops, and that is where we want, so the first interaction that we have, we want to have with people is to interact with them physically through a seminar, so that we can tell them what we are all about, and then
Why it's important.
then buy the kit. Otherwise, you can buy the kit, you can buy technology from the market at any point of time, and most of the kit or technology which is there in the market, you buy and you don't use it.
So to be honest, so basically we need to create awareness most importantly, then the product can be bought.
Yes, yeah. So the first step that we have, for the first few months, we are focusing on doing a lot of road shows in the corporate, in schools. So we want to meet as many people as possible, tell them what is required. Many people will not need anything. Okay.
True.
Yeah, they'll not need our kit also. So they will be able to be healthy. People who need our help, then for them, these products are there.
You will be suggesting this kit.
Yes, yes, yeah. So that is the way forward that we are looking at.
So how was your collaboration with IIIT Hyderabad?
Great. I think this is one of the best places in India to understand the depth of technology, and we have great minds at work out here. I was fortunate to meet some guys who are in deep tech, who do a lot of innovative work for different sectors. There are guys who are into robotics, drones, they make rockets, and so when the technology at this level, in health tech, the technology is at very, very basic level. So I, being an engineer from NIT Bhopal, I understand electronics and technology, and when I talk to them, it is fluent. I mean, I'm able to convey them what I need. I'm able to tell them also what can be used for our sector. So using my domain expertise and technology is something which is very good collaboration.
So finally, what is your vision of XTraliving?
See, each one of us, we live our life and we live a very basic life in most cases. We wake up in the morning, we go for work, and in the evening we are drained, and at night we sleep, and that's it, right? We don't realize the kind of life we can if we are healthy physically and mentally. We want to give that extra to your life, and that is why we are XTraliving. We want to make sure that you live your life physically, mentally well, so that you enjoy your life better with your friends, family, and people around you. It's not about just living longer, but living larger.
So that's all about XTraliving, an amazing platform, has a vision to enhance life through health and wellness. Thank you.